I know some of y'all are going to be in the comments like, Robin, I feel attacked. I'm talking to you, baby. You were supposed to hear this today. I have a confession. When I first started running, I was in my early 20s. I had done 3 half marathons and the New York City Marathon. When people would ask me about my recent races, I'd be like, oh, this is just a hobby. I do it on the side. I'm not even a runner. I'm not an athlete. And I know some of y'all are feeling like, oh, I'm seen, right? We minimize the hard-earned accomplishments that are right in front of us. One day, a question hit me. Why not me? Why not me? To wear the identity of an athlete and a runner. It lit the spark. It lit such a big spark that now I've run ultramarathons, 27 marathons, and counting, and I'm VP and head instructor at Peloton. I have watched literally millions of people try to change their lives. And here's what I've learned. Most people aren't stuck because they lack talent or capability. They are stuck because they keep rehearsing doubt out loud. They don't even know that they're doing it. The language you use matters. So today, I'm giving you the 5 phrases that are holding you back. These are the sentences I hear most often. We are going to name each one, and then I'm going to tell you what it's costing you, and I'm going to give you a swap. Phrase number 1, I'm just. In my life, for the longest time, I was saying, I'm just a lawyer. I'm not an athlete. I don't have any opinions on wellness. When secretly I did. That just is hiding your ambition. It is keeping you stuck. You're making your goal smaller so you can't disappoint yourself. So it feels less risky. So you are going to trade I'm just for I'm building. Think about how much more powerful that feels. It could still be your day one. You could still not know anything about this new life that you're trying to create or this new identity that you're trying on for size. But I'm building at least has momentum and agency to it. Number 2, maybe one day, even hopefully someday, or how about this one? When the time is right, you already know the tone of those statements. I know some of y'all are going to be in the comments like, Robin, I feel attacked. I'm talking to you, baby. You were supposed to hear this today. And the swap for this day. Even better, today. I love reading fairy tales to my kids, but a dream without a deadline is, in fact, a fairy tale. Like, we're going to be talking about Magic Kingdom. You are going to be up there with Tiana and Cinderella and Aurora. And can you believe they call Aurora, by the way? I grew up with Sleeping Beauty, but I'm glad she has a name. But this is what you are doing. You are naming something that creates a figurative or literal finish line. And that might move, right? So timelines are not set in stone. But going from this maybe one day mentality to, oh, it's October 1st, 2026. Puts you in a much different energy to get stuff done. Confidence is not something you wait for. One day, this day. Phrase number 3, I probably can't. Here's the swap. You're actually just adding one word to the end of the sentence. Yet. Ooh, I love the word yet. I use it all the time with my kids to institute and teach them growth mindset. You don't know how to do it yet. You're not at that place yet. When I was training for MS Run the US, which is 5 marathons in 5 days across the state of Utah, I sent in the application. So I turned someday into today. So phrase number 2. And then I was totally confronted with phrase number 3. I probably can't. I've never done that before. I had no confidence. I had no business signing up for this ultramarathon or stage race, really. And I had never run that far in my life. I had never even run 30 miles yet before I committed to doing basically over a marathon a day for 5 days straight. And the little tiny, seemingly innocuous word that got my ass up and training was yet. And it felt so liberating to know every time I laced up, I wasn't there yet, but I could be. Number 4, I don't have time. The way that liquefies my insides, the way that excuse makes me want to just rip off my own eyebrows, it makes me mad because the swap is I don't have time. The swap is I make time for what matters. This one might make me the most fired up because it also presumes that you are not in control of anything in your life and what you make time for. And I get it. I know you're going to be like, but Robin, I got 3 kids. I have 4 jobs. I have this, that, and the other. Of course you do. But we make time for what matters. I make time for what matters requires us to look at our values. Is your weekly calendar, if somebody looked at your calendar and they didn't know you, how would they interpret who you are? You say you're a family person, but you don't spend 2 minutes with your kids? That's not reflecting that value. This one really grinds my gears because I want us to fully step into architecting our calendars with intention, even knowing that there are going to be limitations and pulls that we can't control. But going into I make time for what matters, even if what you're making time for isn't painting the perfect picture. Might not look like a 60-minute workout. Maybe it's 5 minutes. But going into that conversation with your calendar, with yourself, with the stakeholders in your life requires you to identify what's important. And then it requires you to make some sometimes tough decisions on what is actually getting that finite resource of your life. Number 5, that's unrealistic. That's unrealistic. Or maybe somebody's telling you that's unrealistic. Ooh, I love using other people's doubt as determination. It's like my favorite little mixology. Like if I had a chemistry set and that were like what I could put into the chemistry set, other people's doubt, somehow the alchemy of that is like jet fuel to a hustler. But the swap, that's unrealistic, but I'm going for it anyway. There's never a good time to get uncomfortable. Disruptors, rebels are going to be misunderstood. They're probably going to be mocked. They're certainly going to be doubted. And they're going to be called unrealistic. And it is only when you start seeing a glimmer of success that those people come back out of the woodwork and they're like, I knew her when. I believed. You didn't. But that's okay. So you have to be the one holding yourself down. And it doesn't mean you can't have realistic details in the plan, right? Like we can't just all live in the clouds and like hope, pray, manifest and like, boom, there's a new life. But that phrase, that's unrealistic, but I'm going for it anyway. I mean, that's jet fuel. And I have had so many unrealistic goals. I remember when I was going into the conversations around cookbook, I thought that's kind of unrealistic. Like there are so many cookbooks out there. There are so many classically trained chefs. Like who cares about my own little vegan life? And then I started saying, but I'm going to go for it anyway. This is bringing me joy. I feel like I have something to say here. And whether it's 2 people or 2,000 or 2 million that pay attention, I'm going to build it. And I hope that you put that in your back pocket because we need more unrealistic folks who are willing to put the work in and make something that feels unrealistic at first into a reality. All right, here's your call to action. You have a 24-hour language audit. You're going to try to catch yourself when you say any of these phrases. I'm just, you swap for, I'm building. Maybe one day, catch yourself, put it in the calendar. Make one day today. Make one day this specific day. I probably can't yet. I don't have time. I make time for what matters. That's unrealistic, but I'm going for it anyway. If I played your thoughts on a loudspeaker, would you be proud of them? Now, I want you to have the overarching question to all of that. Why not me? When all else fails, when you're like, girl, I don't remember that graphic. I don't know. What did she say? Why not me? You can always come back to that. It's a dangerous question. It's a dangerous question in the best way possible because the more that you ask that, the more it's asking also, what are you going to do about it? Now, what are you going to do about it? Why not me? That identity, that seed is planted, and then the action takes hold. It's time for You've Reached Robin. Here's our question.
Hey, Robin. My name is Sarah, and I do your workouts every single day. But my question is this. I am 47 years old, and I've been reading mixed research about HIIT workouts for perimenopausal women. And some of the research I read says that we should do HIIT and it's the best type of workout for visceral belly fat. And then I see other things that say that we should avoid doing too much HIIT because it raises our cortisol and it can actually slow down our metabolisms and make us gain weight. So I'm just curious what your take is and how much HIIT, if any, should we be doing each week? Thank you so much.
This is a great question. I'm so glad that you asked. Okay, so HIIT. Let's put a button on this. HIIT is essential for people who are in perimenopause and menopause. The dosage is what matters. And so I would say 20% of your training should be true HIIT. And let me give you some examples of what I mean by that. Sprint interval training. You're sprinting, which is a heart rate function, doesn't necessarily mean that you're on the track running as fast as you can. Of course, my runners, running absolutely counts for this, but it's a heart rate function. So you could do it on a bike, you could do it on a rower, you could do it doing burpees, thrusters, whatever. But it's something that's going to get your heart rate up, and you're going to do it maximally for 30 seconds. And then you're going to take 2 to 5 minutes off as a true recovery. So that's sprint interval training, which is a version of HIIT, which stands for high intensity interval training. And then, aerobic HIIT would be like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. If you are highly trained and your work capacity allows for that, that might be appropriate in that bucket. For folks just starting out, I would like to see a little bit longer recoveries. What we're trying to balance is this feeling of being wired and tired. So there's 5 zones. Zones 1 and 2 are endurance, conversational pace, all-day pace. And then 3, 4, and 5 are where things get a little bit tricky. Zone 3 is where a lot of workouts tend to leave us when you're not lifting as heavily as you should be, when you do have a lot of cardio elements and a lot of moderate weights and a lot of moderate effort that accumulates over 45 minutes or 60 minutes and feels hard, like you were sweating, you feel like you had a workout, but you're not actually achieving the goal for perimenopause and menopause, which is polarized training. I say that means you're keeping the easy days easy and you're making the hard days hard. And I would say 2 to 3 sessions a week are those hard days. And the remainder of your training, and from a cardio perspective, is keeping the easy days easy. And then that's being paired with heavy resistance training. And heavy is relative to the individual athlete. There's no one size fits all, of course, as it relates to weights. But you are doing things from a strength perspective where those last 1 to 2 reps are straight up hard. The cardio piece, which we're talking about with the HIIT, I would love to see that 2 to 3 sessions a week. And more than that isn't necessarily better. And the polarized training mentality of keeping the hard days hard and the easy days easy doesn't leave as much room for those middle ground workouts. And I'll say there's one big caveat: joy. There might be stuff that you're like, oh my gosh, but I love that boot camp, or I love this pickleball thing, or I love this random workout that kind of leaves me, feeling a little bit like I did a lot. Great. But just remember to couch it with enough rest and enough sleep. And if you are getting that wired and tired feeling, like you're putting in so much work, but you're not seeing the results, or you're not feeling like you're at some point in the week regaining that energy that you're expending in your workout and your life, then it's time to reassess. And I would dial back the intensity of those middle of the road workouts and focus on easy conversational pace. And then 2 to 3 times a week, you are jacking it all the way up. You're going zone 5. Like, you cannot have a conversation. Somebody couldn't pay you to tell them what you had for breakfast. Like, you're not able to utter more than a few words at a time. Good luck. Y'all, we went to Disney World. And I went to Universal, Epic Universe in Florida. We took our littles. My kids are 5 and almost 3. And I'm going to give you the tips that actually matter. First, supplies. If you've got kids that are going to be running away from you, then you need an air tag on those kids. I got from Amazon, a little pin that I was able to put, on their shirts. I know there's one on the ones that you can put on shoelaces. But Atlas seems to like to take off his shoes in random times, so much so that I turned around and that boy had left his shoes at the teacups. And I was like, where? Can you imagine? You look down at your kid. You're like, where's your footwear? And you just pushed that stroller around God knows what in the park. Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun scavenger hunt. But I didn't lose him. I didn't lose him. So yeah, air tags on the kids. Number 2, purse snacks. We all know these parks have so much fun snacks, and I totally indulged. I had, I think we had churros. I had the Mickey ear pretzels. I found plant-based ice cream. Like, it was hitting, but I didn't want to have in the back of my head this craving for protein, or that, that feeling when you're just, I love carbs, but if it's only carbs all day, I get this icky feeling like my body's just like wasting away, which is not realistic on one day, but it was just this mental feeling. So I brought protein. I brought protein packets. I bought tofu that I air fried. I brought fruit, whole fruit, which went a long way, especially in the heat, and electrolytes. I brought electrolytes with salt and without salt. I actually put electrolytes in our kids' waters as well. And sometimes that rascally feeling that you get, in a theme park is less hunger actually and more dehydration. So I want us to be covered on all ends. And then, of course, we totally indulged in really fun food, but I didn't want to have to worry about the protein or dehydration. So I was prepped. Number 3, sunscreen sticks, not lotion. I was not trying to wrangle a small human, trying to make sure that they had sun protection with lotion. So we did sunscreen sticks. I think we had also a mini spray. But this comes to my 4th point. The stroller is your base camp. We ended up doing a delivery service for a double running stroller from a local company in Orlando, and it made all the difference. The fact that it was actually a running stroller. I was ready for the parent level Hunger Games. We showed up at Magic Kingdom, and I was stretching at the monorail. Drew was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Are you?" Because we're about to be here for 14 hours. I got my snacks. I got my electrolytes. I got good footwear. I had my Nobles on. We were ready and popping. But the stroller was definitely a base camp for us. It held all our stuff. I had an organizer bag. I had a dry wet bag with one with the food, one with changes of clothes in case the kids had accidents, cooling towels, portable charger for sure. But other than that, I kept it simple, and I just thought okay, I've got pretty much the basics. If we get stranded somewhere, they're good. And then anything else, I just assumed we would be able to pick up in the park. All right, let's talk about experiences. I can't recommend enough booking a character breakfast. We were not in Orlando for very many days, but we did manage to get a character breakfast at the Four Seasons where we were staying. The earliest seating, I highly recommend the earliest seating. Listen, your kids are going to be up early anyway. You might as well give them something to do. We did the 7 a.m. seating, or maybe 7:15, but it was early. It means the kids have something to do early morning, and they get so much time with Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, the characters. Zero pressure to chase characters around the park. You're getting amazing images, videos. It's a whole key situation. At mine, Mickey was wearing some kind of golf attire. That was the only thing that threw me for a loop. My whole trip, that was the only thing that threw me for a loop. The Four Seasons Orlando has character breakfasts, I think Thursdays and Saturdays. And you let me know if you've been. Is Mickey a big golfer or something? Just look at my social. Look at the fit. Look at the fit. That was the only question I had of Mickey. I love you, but we need to send you to the Bippity Boppity Boutique for a makeover. Number 6, early entry is key. See if you're staying at one of the Disney hotels or you're staying at a partner hotel, see if you link your hotel stay to the Disney app, and then it will automatically, when you tap in or you use your Magic Band, will get you early entry. And we got in, actually, we arrived at the park at 8:10 a.m. Our early entry wasn't until 8:30, and we still got in. That's your secret weapon. You're going to be able to get to rides that you don't have a lightning lane for, or the lightning lane was at an inopportune time, and get that in. Athena and I went straight to the little mine train roller coaster, and it was a vibe. The castle lunch is worth the splurge, especially if you are with people who want to see the princesses. I mean, Athena was in the full fantasy. Atlas was in the full fantasy. Like, they thought they were in Cinderella's castle. Every princess came by our table. They even had, I'll tell you what I had for lunch. I had a cauliflower steak, y'all. That was the plant-based option. Although the chef did come out and made something custom for the kids because they weren't going to eat the cauliflower steak. I'm a silent, not so silent protester of cauliflower steaks. But guess what I had in my pocket? Exactly. Per snack tofu. So I was good. I was like, bring on the cauliflower, because I've covered my own bases. One of the best things that we did, number 8, the Bippity Boppity Boutique is so amazing. It is a 90-minute makeover experience for kids and young teens. I think they go up to like age 13, 14, and you are fully getting a makeover. The kid is picking out clothes, picking out shoes, picking out jewelry, picking out, fairy godmother's assistant is helping her with hair and nails. And I was like, my glam doesn't even go this hard. But Athena loved every minute of it. They also do like nights and things for kids who want that journey, that fantasy. We got Atlas a little like night cape, but it was worth when I tell you that my husband and I spent multiple times a day, at least 4 or 5 times a day, checking the Bippity Boppity schedule to see if a spot had opened up for 2 months. I got Beyonce Knowles tickets easier than that. Like, yeah, I know. Shout out to the caregivers doing the absolute most for their littles. Bippity Boppity Boutique, highly recommend. All right, for Epic Universe, definitely book a tour. There's a private VIP tour that's way more pricey, and then the non-private tour is basically going to pair you with a group of 12 people and a private guide. The tour guide is going to it's a 4-hour tour. It's going to handle all the routing. You skip the line. You go directly to the front for we actually did like 9 of the main attractions in Epic Universe. 100% worth it. 100% worth it. I definitely recommend it. It was maybe twice the cost of a regular ticket, but you do so much in the 4 hours that you're there. It made all the difference. Like, we got there at 9:30 a.m. and I actually left at 3. Like, I didn't feel the need to, go so hard in the paint and be there all night. And number 10, if you can, build in a non-park day where you can eat French fries at the pool, and just relax a little bit. Vacation is not so relaxing when you have young kids. You're essentially parenting them in a different location. But I found that the Four Seasons Orlando did a really great job being like Disney adjacent. There was enough Disney on site that you feel like, ooh, I'm part of the action, but it wasn't like all Disney all the time. There's an adult pool there, by the way, an incredible kids club. They even have, little movie, they call them dive-in movies, where they have like a movie screen at the pool. I thought it was delightful. I had at least a gallon of French fries and pretended to I maybe read 2 paragraphs of my book because I was on mom duty, but it was worth it. It was worth it. So yeah, we did basically an adult day at Epic Universe, a kids day at Magic Kingdom, and a family day at the pool, and it was the perfect long weekend. All right, that's it. For even more actionable takeaways, follow Project Swagger on Instagram and TikTok at Project Swagger.